As the lights go on. And off in Estoril for the first time in 27 years. Decent start for Michael Ruben Rinaldi. It's a good getaway for Toprak Razgatlioglu. Leon Haslam being swallowed up in the run down to turn one. Rinaldi cutting through for second place. Alex Lowe's making a good start, going all the way around the outside of Leon Haslam as well and challenging for fourth position. Redding has already made up a bunch of places. In fact, I think he's seen off something like 6 riders on the opening turn alone. Redding already fighting his way through, as is Jonathan Ray. Chaz Davies is the next man in his sights. This is where things start to get that little bit more difficult. Davies losing positions hand over fist in the early running. It's Razgatlioglu who's got the advantage. Ray fighting his way through the field quite nicely, is already up into 8th position. He's seen off the likes of Baz and Sykes, Forres and Bautista, who round out your top 12. A moment there for Alex Lowe's. That's an opportunity down the inside for Michael van der Mark. Meanwhile, Garrett Gerloff cuts past Michael Ruben Rinaldi for second place. So it's now Razgatlioglu in front. It's Gerloff in second position. It's Rinaldi in third, Haslam fourth, Lowe's in fifth, van der Mark sixth, and Jonathan Ray is up to 7th place. Ray swarming down the inside. He's going to pass 2 in 1 manoeuvre into turn 1. He's got through on Lowe's. He's got through on van der Mark as well. Lowe's is trying to capitalise. Van der Mark has lost 2 places. He was fighting in front of Alex Lowe's. He's going to recover in front of the number 22 Kawasaki now. But the man on a mission is Jonathan Ray. 10 places already gained. He wants to see off this 6th world title in style. This is a matter of time surely now for Jonathan Ray on the tail of Leon Haslam. Haslam's still doing a great job up in 4th position with his teammate Bautista down in 12th. But you fancy that once Jonathan Ray has got through on Haslam, he's going to be able to eat up the kilometres on Michael Ruben Rinaldi ahead. It's always a powerful moment for the Honda on a start-finish straight. It's a bike that does well in terms of top speed, but even so, Jonathan Ray in the slipstream is able to come through into turn number 1. So the move is made. Ray's up to 4th. Big moment there for Michael van der Mark. And look at Ray at present, looking for a move now down the inside of Michael Ruben Rinaldi. Bowled into turn 9 from Jonathan Ray, and Rinaldi is relegated down to 4th place. And Jonathan Ray, who started 15th on the grid on lap number 3, is already up into the podium places. This is a champion's performance.
Yeah, Ray just able to pick up the gas so much earlier than all the other riders around him. We saw behind Haslam, behind Rinaldi there as well. He was able to close right up onto the back of the mid-corner. Almost looked like he had to shut off, just waiting for the other riders to get on the gas, and then able to make those moves on the run into the chicane. So for Jonathan Ray, he's up into the podium spots, but Rinaldi able to answer back down the straight. We'll see if Jonathan can outbreak him on the run into turn 1. He can, and he's able to hold off that spot.
Redding is slowing up. Scott Redding with a problem. He shakes his head, and the World Championship for 2020 is going to be over. Nothing less than a victory would have done for Scott Redding, and Jonathan Ray will be confirmed as the 2020 title holder.
Yeah, and for Scott Redding, a technical issue there, and it brings an end to his championship, and probably part of a factor in why he's struggled to come through the field. Just keep an eye out for the 45 here, and yeah, he knows that pretty quickly coming through turn 5, and that's not the place you want to have a technical fast through there. 5th gear, really committed, and once he gets onto the exit, he knows that there's an issue, and he's able to pull off to the side of the track and avoid any of the other bikes. But unfortunate for Scott Redding that his title challenge comes to an end with a technical issue.
Oh, down goes Michael van der Mark. Michael van der Mark tumbles out of the race, and van der Mark will race over to his machine, but that is critical for his hopes in the context of the battle for bronze, because Chaz Davies now comes through to 4th position, and van der Mark is tumbling down the order.
Yeah, and the problem for van der Mark is with his teammate Toprak Razgatlioglu out in front, it also means that they're closing right up on one another in their battle in the championship standings. You can see the disappointment for van der Mark. He wanted to be able to sign off with a really good result here from Yamaha here in race 1, though he's not going to be able to get it. Just pushes a little bit too hard down into 7. It's very easy for that to happen. The track drops away an awful lot more than it looks on the camera as Jonathan Ray moves himself up into 2nd spot.
Through comes Jonathan Ray on Garrett Gerloff, who's going to be late on the brakes. The back end quivering as he goes into turn 1. Ray's got the move done. Gerloff with a sweet cutback though, recovers 2nd place, and Ray has to work hard for that one. That's probably the hardest that Jonathan Ray has worked for any overtaking manoeuvre in this race so far. Ducati power, roaring Chaz Davies through, up into third position. Gerloff once again will try to hold on to it. Davies is aggressive, moves across the path of the Texan. Again, he's going to try the cutback, but Davies is wary of that one and holds on for third. And this is crucial for Davies in the context of the battle for bronze, bearing in mind that as things were, he would stand to lead by 35 points over Michael van der Mark in that race for third position. And Toprak Razgatlioglu will also be gaining ground with 25 championship points on offer for him out in front.
For Chaz Davies, 2 clean moves on the run down in towards turn 1. How many times in the past did we see Chaz Davies so strong on the brakes that if he outbrakes anyone, it's very difficult to try and attack back? We saw it on the Gerloff move. This move a little bit easier for Davies, able to make it a lot earlier on the entry into the corner. But once he's got that confidence in the front end, he's always fast. And certainly for Davies, he said all the way through his time with the V4R, you give me the bike that I want, I'll be able to get good results. Every time he's had that, he's been able to run at the front. It's just good that he's been able to do it on a relatively consistent basis the second half of this season.
Ray going for a move, attempting to recover third place. He's desperate to confirm that World Championship victory with a podium position so that he can celebrate in style. And he's got through on Garrett Gerloff. Again, the Texan tries that cutback maneuver off turn number 1, but can't get down the inside at turn 2. Good fight going on here. Ray going defensive. Gerloff's going to get the run. He's the faster man at this stage of the race, it seems, but Ray doing a good job into turn 1 to recover the plate. As you can see on your screen, Federico Caricasulo has gone down at the fast right-hander at turn 7. Up at the front of the field, Garrett Gerloff responds. A lap ago, Ray was able to move through on the Texan into turn 1. This time around, it's the American's turn to move back into the podium places. These two trading blows at this stage. Haslam right in the slipstream here of Alex Lowes. This is for 6th place, and it's going to be Lowes who looks vulnerable to the Honda attack down the inside into turn 1. Can Haslam get it stopped? The two Brits going side by side. Haslam's done a good job there, back up into 6th place. So Leon Haslam, who was passed by Bautista and Lowes in successive laps, has recovered against the number 22 for 6th. Oh, Bautista! Alvaro Bautista is down yet again! The Spaniard attempting to haul the machine out of the gravel trap is an all too familiar sight. He's gone down at the left-hander turn 6. Lowes is going to get alongside Haslam. We saw the move in the other direction between these two, and Lowes has managed to get it stopped. So that's a good recovery move from Alex Lowes. He's back up to 5th. Well, we saw the T-shirts being given out, and now they are being worn. It's moments away. They don't need to be as nervous as they look down there, because it's all but confirmed Scott Redding is out of the race. Jonathan Rea is making his way through the final sector and making history here in Estoril. Be the second time that a Superbike World Championship has been confirmed around this circuit, and it's going to be title number 6 for Jonathan Rea. Toprak Razgatlioglu then heading towards victory, but all of the focus is on the number 1. He couldn't do it in Manicourt. He had to wait till Estoril. Toprak Razgatlioglu wins the Estoril Round race number 1, but Jonathan Rea comes out of the final turn to be confirmed world champion in 2020. The celebrations can begin. Rea has done it for a 6th year in a row. Can you believe it? It's not with a 100th race victory, but it is with a champion's ride. From 15th on the grid, carving his way into the podium places, eventually relegated to 4th, and you can see what that means to him, not least after that dramatic Super Bowl crash earlier on today. We're underway with the final race of the season. Good start from Jonathan Rea from the 2nd row of the grid, putting those motocross skills to the test as he fights his way through. Side by side up front, but it is Toprak Razgatlioglu who's deepest on the brakes and hits the front into turn number 1. The riders filtering through further back. Redding's getting feisty, attacking. Alex Lowes with a great start has come through up into 7th position. He might be able to go with the lead group of 6. Chaz Davies thundering down the inside at turn 3. He makes the pass on Garrett Gerloff for 2nd, so it's Razgatlioglu who leads, And the Ducati man, Chaz Davies, has done exactly what he knew he needed to do, which is to interrupt the rhythm of those Yamahas in the early running. Razgatlioglu leading from the front as he has done all weekend. Jonathan Rea now starting to build up his pace on the tail of Michael van der Mark. That's where the attack is going to come for 4th position. Thinking about a move into turn number 9, the slowest corner on the circuit here in Estoril. Rea gets alongside. Oh, he's bundled out of the way by Michael van der Mark, and Scott Redding is going to pick the pocket of the pair of them. Scott Redding comes through. Van der Mark's totally out of shape. Even Jonathan Rea looks a little bit wayward. Van der Mark again makes an error as they come through the right-hander. Rea's going the long way round the outside of turn 13. Van der Mark's going to get the pace here coming off the final turn. We start lap number 2 and we've already had plenty of excitement. We've got to make it to the finish, guys. Jonathan Rea on the tail of Scott Redding. This is going to be for P4. Chaz Davies up at the head of the field, late braking himself. The Ducati man comes through on Toprak Razgatlioglu. The first time that the Turkish youngster's really been headed this weekend. It's Davies in front. 2.5 seconds covering our lead 7 with Alex Lowe's just on the fringes of that. Oh, down goes Garrett Gerloff from a podium position. Second major incident for Gerloff from a top high-flying scoring position. An opportunity to make it a trio of podiums, and Gerloff has binned it in the gravel. It's Jonathan Rea who's come through for second, sliding his way back into turn 1 though. Razgatlioglu recovers the place, and Rea will have to think again. Jonathan Rea tried a move on Toprak Razgatlioglu into turn 1 a lap ago, but went for the outside line into turn 1 and couldn't make it stick. This time he goes for the inside. It's going to be a block pass. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. Although Toprak Razgatlioglu has got the cutback and muscles his way back through. And once again, Jonathan Rea has to give second best through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's tough to make that move into turn 1 because we've seen it all the way.
Error from Razgatlioglu. Rea dives down the inside line, and Jonathan Rea has gone down. A stunning effort from Toprak Razgatlioglu to recover that second place, and a rare error from our 2020 world champion Jonathan Rea.
Yeah, and certainly for Jonathan, we haven't seen too many mistakes like that through the course of the season, but it also shows just how hard he was having to push down in towards turn 3. You can see what's going to happen now for Rea. Just tries to carry that tight line from out wide, carrying a bit of speed, and unfortunately for him, loses the front. Luckily for Toprak, he's able to stay upright.
Jonathan Rea remounts down in 16th position. So if the bike is okay, no doubt he will try to come through and score points. He's certainly not back at standard racing speed, though, as he cruises round outside of the top 15. Baz goes wide, Baz goes on towards the grass, but manages to stay on the green paint instead and returns to the track in front of Michael Ruben Rinaldi. That promotes Xavi Forres. He's gone off again. He's gone off again, has Loris Baz, so perhaps a brake problem there, because that's 2 corners in a row where he just couldn't get the machine stopped. Whether that's a problem for Alex Lowe's, because he is tumbling down the timing screens, and at the moment showing up on our screen outside of the top 10, it is indeed a problem for Alex Lowe's, who's down in the gravel trap once again, this time at turn 7 for Alex Lowe's. Down the inside comes Xavi Forres into turn 9 on Michael Ruben Rinaldi, who's going to go for the switchbacks. Got to go the long way round turn 10 on the outside. They're side by side. Michael Ruben Rinaldi on the Ducati up against Xavi Forres. And Forres has held sway for the moment, at least, in 6th place. And this is a good ride for Forres, the best we've seen of him all season. There was some discussion in the week leading up to this race that he may be considered to be kept within the Kawasaki fold for next season on one of the satellite bikes. Well, it's certainly earn himself a reprieve if he has a good result here. He loses 1 position in towards turn number 1. He's getting swamped for top end speed. It's a Ducati and a Honda, the 2 most powerful bikes in a straight line, and they've pushed Forres back down into 8th position now. As Scott Redding finally makes that move on Toprak Razgatlioglu. That's no great surprise. Toprak fighting back, that's no great surprise either. But it is the red now in front of the blue, and we're looking at a potential 1-2 for Ducati. a compliment for Chaz Davies. Thank you for all of the emotions. There'll have certainly been a lot of emotions over the last couple of weeks or so, but the Welshman is making his way through the final sector, and there's only going to be one emotion on his mind at this stage. It has been a superlative performance all weekend long from Chaz Davies, his best Super Bowl effort of 2020. A podium finish in race number 1, and he's going to cap off the weekend in the best way of all. It's going to be a second win of 2020. His final race for Ducati ends with success. Chaz Davies wins the season finale in Estoril. A moment to remember for the rest of his career. Chaz Davies ends 7 seasons in red with a win ahead of teammate Scott Redding in second position. It's a Ducati 1-2